Hello. How's everybody's weekend? How's everybody doing tonight?
Doing good. I was in Chicago all last week, so I slept basically all Sunday. It was amazing.
It's been warm, but it's been warm everywhere. But I found that my lungs don't like the humidity, so I cough like I have really bad allergies. So like when I'll go, right now I'm inside a building, but as soon as I walk outside, I'll hit a wall of humidity and I'll cough like I'm dying. But I'm not. My lungs just don't like the humidity. So when I was in Tennessee, it's the migraines that were affected by humidity. Now it's just my lungs. So it's fine. I mean, it's not. I'm not dying. I feel like I am sometimes, but I'm not coughing anything up. It's just like this dry, never-ending cough. Other than that, I'm doing fine.
Tennessee is migraine central of the U.S., I'm convinced.
I believe it.
Hi, people. I was setting up our timer.
Roy is sacked out on his bed right now. He's so cute. Hi. Oh, I woke him up. Hi. Hi, handsome.
He was like, "You called?"
He was groomed today.
Hi. How do you do with that?
Good.
My middle child is saying hi several times.
Hi.
Hello.
Hey, stranger, long time no see in chat.
Oh, thank you.
So, yes, child.
I could have took chairs.
You can keep your chair.
You're handsome. Oh, thank you.
Oh, I have to switch chairs. The child wants me to have the adult chair.
Oh, the audacity.
He saw me mildly struggling to find a good height with the kid chair.
He is a good boy. This is Roy Edward Nettles. After Full Metal Alchemist characters.
Finally in the new job and can have an online life again. Nice. He is a good boy. He looks very fly.
Hey, Michael,
RP spent the weekend cleaning up the backyard a bit after a really bad storm came through last night. There. We also had a storm at some point, or so my head tells me. I woke up feeling great this morning, y'all. I got up, I mopped some floors. I was ready to do all the things. And then the longer I've been awake, the more my head has made me regret life. But I read a new manga, or volume 1 of a new manga. It's called The Yakuza's Bias. Not gonna lie, I misread it as The Yakuza's Bride, and I was like, what is this? And then I read the summary, and I'm like, so where does the bride come from? And then, like, my husband purchased it, and then I looked at it, and I'm like, oh, that word is bias. That word is, in fact, not bride. But now the summary makes more sense, so there's that. There it says, hi, Stephanie. It's been too long since I've seen you on a stream.
I want to say, I was on the Storytellers Hearth writing relay weekend.
That was like so many months ago, though.
That was the last one. I'm just saying that his comment is valid. That was so many months ago.
Yes.
It's been so many months ago. Jess and I are talking about when we're going to start setting up for the next one. Hello. Mimi says that your pup is so cute, Laura. Speaking of writing events and stuff, though, this weekend will be our first Flash Fiction Free-for-All guest edition. We're going to have a Mimi, a Raphael, and a Blake. Wait, there's one more. Who am I forgetting? I'm sorry to whoever you are. Just because I have forgotten you does not mean I care for you any less. It's a Laura. Wait, did I say Laura? Yeah, Blake,
You did
Mimi,
not
Laura,
say Laura.
Raphael.
You did not say Laura the first time.
You're here. Why didn't you help me out?
I'm sorry, I was distracted.
She too forgot she was in the Flash Fiction Free for All. Is what
You
it
might
was.
have to send her a reminder.
I will. Especially since it will be at 2 p.m., not 7 p.m.
On a Saturday,
on a Saturday. Yeah.
I will not be working, so all good.
I may have to go to a point, but may not win.
Well, if it was on a weekday, I would not be available at 2 p.m. So, well, I mean, I would, but I wouldn't be. I would for things that other people organize, not for things that I organize.
Makes sense. So
I-
right now we're in Western Virginia, and so that's why, even though there's been plenty of people online doing live streams, I haven't been attending them because they lag by like 20 minutes because of our not great cell coverage where we're at right now.
Makes sense.
We're fixing it. I'm gonna protect this.
Sometime next year, I will be doing the Flash Fiction Free for All tournament. I figured out how I can accomplish this.
We're watching.
I just need a month. I just need a month where I can hog the weekends. It'll be fine.
I'm outside. Ow.
So, yes, I'm glad. I'm going to need at least 12 people to sign up to participate to make my teams. So,
I've
y'all
never
keep
written
it-
a flash fiction, so I don't know if I would be a great
Barrett-
participant for that.
do you know what the Flash Fiction Free for All is? If not, I shall explain. That's okay. I think Mimi, correct me if I'm wrong, but she also does not write flash fictions, and so, but she's participating Saturday, so she's gonna practice with some of the old Flash Fiction Free for All prompts. No, okay. So the Flash Fiction Free for All is a we're gonna bumble through this because my brain is being crushed by an invisible vice. So the Flash Fiction Free for All is an event that I host once a quarter-ish, where me, Cody Keller, Matt Holland, and CB Ferenz go up against each other writing flash fictions, which for the purpose of the event is up to 1,000 words based on a prompt that Fox makes the prompts. Chat votes on the prompt, so none of us have any idea what the prompt is going to be before it's voted on. And then we have two 30-minute sprints to write the flash fiction. And in between these sprints, chat will throw out like suggestions, characters, ideas, genre switching, hyper specific concepts to add in, sometimes weather changes. And then the writers get to pick which one we're going to put in our story. And then after the flash fictions are written, I put them in a Google Drive folder, and chat gets time to read them and then vote on them. Chat doesn't know who wrote which one until after the voting is done, and then we don't reveal it until chat gets their guesses in, because the one time I was going to reveal it before chat was able to guess, chat was not pleased with me, and so we always let chat guess. And then afterwards, we kind of talk a little bit about our, like, just the process and the concepts and kind of like how we felt while writing it. And it's a fascinating discussion to be had. Yes, the Flash Fiction Free for All guest edition will be this Saturday. I will be there, but I will not be writing. Or maybe I will be. But you won't be voting for mine. So, not that y'all ever vote for me anyway. I haven't won one of these yet. Thank you. I try to be. Well, I mean, Laura is in the competition, and that's like flash fictions are her jam. So
I sold 2 more Drabbles this weekend. So
but
they
no
are,
pressure, everybody else. No pressure.
they're for the horror Christmas anthology.
He's like right
So
there.
one is called Undead Flight, because Santa's reindeer are actually zombified.
Where he is.
And then the other one is called Threadbare, and it's about the Yule Cat.
Nice.
I must reads that one. I love the Yule Cat. Though I almost accidentally terrified my children with the Yule Cat, because I was like, well, if you don't get like clothes or something for Yule, then the Yule Cat will eat you. And my youngest fucking almost started bawling on the spot. She's like,
Oh no!
it's for pretend. It's not actually gonna eat you. All right, if my lovely co-hosts could go ahead and introduce themselves.
I am Laura Nettles.
No,
I'm
yeah.
supposed to write horror. I have a book over here. It's called Tiny Shivers. It is 101 drabbles, flashes, and short stories. So fun times. It is available on Amazon. It's in KU. And I am currently drafting for a pen name project. It is a vampire romance called Crimson Strings for my pen name, Kiara Tanith. Woot. I am 68K into it. So, yeah. That's me.
Hello, everyone. My name is Stephanie. I write underneath the name Stephanie Whitson. I have 9 books out. I have a series of coming age novels inspired by my less than stellar upbringing. And then I have a series of small town romances titled Love in Rockaway Beach. So far there is 5. And then I'm getting ready to start on a connected series to that one. Also small town romances. Oh, number 9. That's right. Number 9 book is a RVing tips handbook that is available in Kindle Unlimited. And that's the only one of mine that's in there. And that's me. Thanks.
And I'm Writing Mom Samantha Alnasset. This is my channel where I talk about writer things, parent things, and writer-parent things. I'm working on my re-debut novel, Save Her Soul, which is about a Jaguar shifter pit fighter and a lovely, as I call her, uptown girl who people are trying to murderize her. And Moxie, my shifter pit fighter, is trying to ensure nobody murderizes her. Well,
Murderizing is bad for your health.
yeah, Moxie agrees. I host live streams like this on Mondays at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, and I am slowly branching out and working on helping host more writing events. Like I help co-organize the Storytellers Hearth with the Hex Library, our wonderful Jessica, and now I'm the Flash Fiction Free-for-Alls. Maybe gonna grow even bigger. Who knows? Oh, also, my newsletter at SamanthaLNasset.com should be going out this week. That's the hopes. I've already started planning and outlining it because heaven help me if I don't outline rubbish. So what is everybody working on tonight? I will be working, well, actually, I'll probably be doing adminning things like emails and such, and then maybe working on my wit.
I am hopping with participating in the charity live stream right now on Barrett's stream.
Oh,
But I will also hopefully be breaking 69K in this story. Where am I at so far?
What's the charity live stream?
It's on Barrett Laurie's channel. It's for Desiree M. Ortega's brother. They have a GoFundMe. Do you want me to post the YouTube link in the private chat?
You talk, I'll get.
Okay. Yeah, so Desiree's brother has been fighting for his life medically for years, especially since COVID, and their landlord is trying to turn them out of the house. And Desiree's mother can't work full time because she has to be a caregiver. And most of the places that you can rent require 4 months ahead of time in rent now. So they are kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place because Florida is a mess for renters. So, yeah. So there's all these requirements that like wherever they move needs to be close to a hospital. The room needs to be big enough for a lift and oxygen tanks and all of this stuff so that he can survive in the room. But yeah, it's a big ask for the GoFundMe. So if anything can help, that would be great.
I have linked and pinned the live stream.
Awesome.
And I'm hunting down, I assume, the GoFundMe link. Yes, there it is. I have shared that in chat. Stephanie, what will you be working on?
I'm going to be working on outlining my first book in my new Small Town Romance series. Mainly like brainstorming the layout of this new town that I've decided I'm going to create. Which, yeah, that's always fun.
Having
Like,
the small town created for the small town series.
Yes. Well, my first small
On point,
town.
that's what I was thinking.
My first small town series, Love and Rockaway Beach, is based on a real town called Rockaway Beach. That's on the Oregon coast. And it was easy for me to create it because, well, I'd lived there like 10 years of my life. So
Helpful.
I might like maybe take bits and pieces some other, because I've lived up and down the Oregon coast. I might take bits and pieces some other ones and kind of mash together, or I might make up a whole brand new one. I'm not sure yet. But I know the name of the town. It's going to be called Tranquil Bay. And I came up with the name because characters from the first book took their honeymoon in it. In one of the books, they went on a honeymoon to another small town called Tranquil Bay. So that's
Nice.
I'm like, it's a new series, but it's still connected a little bit in a way. But that's, yeah. So I'm going to just try to figure out the layout of the town, which means just doing it on paper by hand. Because I'm not very skilled at map making skills here, people.
I feel that.
It's kind of why I stopped writing my fantasy adventure novel, because I'm like 25,000 words in, but then I realized I got to a point where I need a layout of my land, and I'm not there yet. So that's on pause until further notice.
Fair. Barrett said that he was going back to his stream. Mimi said congrats, I assume for your Drabbles being sold.
Thank you. I made a whole $2. Rolling in dough.
Well,
That's $2 you didn't have before.
It's
yes.
true. And they're US dollars. Worth more than Canadian.
That's such a flex and shade at the same time. Well, Mimi, I will probably be doing a Sam writing hour later, maybe. So
I love this false saint idea. Like,
I
that's
have read her prologue and her first chapter. It's so great. Laura, you would love it, especially her first chapter. The disease that she has created and the way that it bloatingly incinerates the peoples, man, it's
nice. Full Saint is
you'd be right.
reminding me of a series I just read called Sanctify, where it's two guys who are in love, but one is an exorcist and one is a demon. So It
Interesting.
was cool.
No, it's not that the commuter's not.
RP will be working on planner stuff that he should have done last week, and then hopefully doing some writing on one of his whips. Not sure which one though. Well, when you know which whip, let us know. Oh, and figuring out finance stuff because I might be moving kind of soon. Fair. That's important. Sam writing hour. For those who don't know, the Sam writing hour is a very unsamly hour where in my writing group I sit in a call for an hour silently writing, and anybody who wishes to join me may. I also play my playlist, but that depends on how Discord and the sharing YouTube thing is feeling that day.
Yeah.
I am truthful. And you can tell because I flubbed in how to describe things. I work hard.
Oh my gosh. So I was coming back across the border into Canada, and at customs they were asking me, so do you have anything to declare? And my brain froze up, and I'm like, oh no!
Everything in your trunk is illegal.
Ah! I'm like,
Everything.
well, I bought some stuff, but I shipped it ahead in the mail. And they're like, what did you buy? I'm like, yarn and books. And they're like, you bought that much yarn? I'm like,
They're like, ma'am, that's an excessive amount of yarn. RP says false saint sounds cool. There is more to it, but my brain is refusing to give me information. And I don't want to accidentally say spoilers. I'm caught up and will be working on my debut. It's a fantasy romance surrounding guardian beings that guide humans. There's a positive race as well as a negative race. The temptation. Although now in my head it's like temptation, holiday something. Don't mind me, I'm just getting our timer set up.
nice. How long of a sprint is it going to be?
So yeah, the first one is 30 minutes. Y'all, let me tell you, I need more of Yakuza's bias. I need to go back to the bookstore and spend far too much money getting more volumes because it's so funny. Like it's a good, I don't want to say parody, but it's kind of like it's around there. It's the good kind of comedy where it like affectionately makes fun of things, and it's like the Yakuza who is now the K-pop idol fanboy. He's like he writes fan fiction on Twitter because he like found out that the K-pop, they had this like, you know, bad boy mafia-esque costumes for one of their music videos, and it like inspired the Yakuza to write this fan fiction where the K-pop idol was in fact also a Yakuza, but he's like one of the most badasses Yakuzas ever, and he asked the Yakuza guy to be his second in command, and then like the K-pop idol finds this fan fiction and like gets it translated, and he's like, y'all, he made me sound so cool. He's like, I was so badass in this story. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. It's so cute and wholesome, and I love everything about it. But yeah, I'll go ahead and get our 30-minute timer going. So hopefully my child's computer time will be over by then. All right. What did I hit the? I did not. I hit the theater, not the full screen. I do that. Laura, would you like to count us down first?
I would be honored.
All right.
And a 3, and a 2, and uno. Looks like it's done. What?
Hello.
Hello.
I realized, I was like doing good. I got through my emails and I was getting the desktop set up for me to do things on. Then I realized that I had, because of the bracket thing I was trying to use to sort of plan out the Flash Fiction Free for All tournament, something hadn't processed right. And then I went back and counted, and I would only need 5 live streams to do it, not 7. So it makes things a little easier.
How long are you expecting the Flash Fiction free for all to take? Is it like over days or weeks, months?
Over
But you
days,
said
definitely.
like
Well, okay. So the original, and these are tentative plans, but the original thing was I thought I would need 7, and so then I was like, okay, so I'd do 2 one weekend, 2 next weekend, and then the final one on the last. But it will be shorter. But yes, that's in part why I was trying to find a month that didn't have many writing things going on. It's like, this will now be Sam September. Don't nobody make any plans. So
You have
you
called
should
dibs.
just make that a thing, like Sam September.
Sam
and, like,
September.
got the whole month of September is just lots of live streams from you. More so than usual.
I'm writing to a flash prompt for the other stream right now. Oh, the prompt is 2 people start leaving notes on a bulletin board in a coffee shop to each other, not realizing they know each other.
Oh.
So the first note is, do you like pina coladas? So this is going
Do
swimmingly.
you like dancing in the rain? No, I'm kidding.
So her response was, yes, but the rain makes me sneeze.
Allergic to rain.
Okay, so I think I've gotten the layout, like the basic layout of the town. So I don't make it super detailed, just like where some houses are and the layout of the streets and where the main businesses are in town, because at some point people are going to interact in like a grocery store or a coffee shop or a restaurant or whatever. So I got that figured out. And then now I'm just trying to figure out people's jobs that they're going to have in this story. Because not everyone can just roam around all day long not working. I mean, I guess you could.
Wish. I wish doing that would not mean that I has no house. No more. Hi. Hello, everybody who has come in. Tina and a friend are chatting about Tina's upcoming work, A False Oracle. Yes. Hi all. I'm late, but here. Welcome, Kelly. Sorry, I was trying to remember. Mimi, is your... Yeah, it is a false oracle and a false saint. We've got all the false religious iconography up in here.
You need a false hierophant.
September sounds like a plan. Missed a couple minutes, but September sounds like an amazing idea. Also completed planner stuff, and I'm finishing finance stuff. Yes. All I did was daydream during that sprint. Sometimes that's what happens. Chris also came in here to show me. So he has started drawing things on his phone when he has time at work. He's getting quite skilled at it. So we were like discussing getting him a tablet and a laptop so he could draw more than things. I told him he's got to become skilled enough he can do my covers.
That's a good trade-off.
Yes. My ego does not need Samtember. Look. I want Samtember for Flash Fiction Free for All. Is this not a thing you could agree to? But not this year, next year. We don't have enough time this year. That would only be in another week. Pin that so I don't forget. Kelly got here mid-sprint, so not a lot done, but a good start on her new research project on the wine of Pompeii and how Mount Vesuvius blowing up kickstarted the wine industry in Europe. That is fascinating.
There would be a lot of fertile volcanic soil.
That's what I was just thinking. It's like, I didn't realize that is what created the wine industry. Fox said September next year is too far away for him to agree to anything other than my ego doesn't need an entire month. Well, my ego's taking a month, so nothing nobody can do about it. Okay, I'm sure there's stuff people could start having events in September, and then Samtember would be gone. But it's okay. It's like not the opposite of a birthday month, but it's like a delayed birthday month. She's like, yeah, my birthday's August 30th. I am now taking over September. So, my brain is just dead tonight. Chat, how's your projects going?
Save
Everything
us, chat. Save us.
Oh, my co-host could also talk to me. They're just nodding their heads and staring into space.
Well, do you want me to read what I've written so far?
Regale me with your words, Laura.
Okay. Do you like pina coladas? The note was pinned to the bulletin board at the coffee shop Ivy Beans, Sabrina's favorite haunt. She took out her notebook from her book bag and tore the last page out, signing a carefree reply. Yes, but the rain makes me sneeze. She tacked it over the original note and left without a second thought. The next day was a rush as usual, the line out the door, but Sabrina needed her caffeine fix. As she approached the counter one step at a time, she noticed there was a new note pinned over her response. Once she had her caramel macchiato in hand, she wandered over to see what had transpired. I can work with that. But do you like making love at midnight? A blush worked its way across her face, warming her skin. Boy, did she ever. She took her napkin and wrote down a reply before pinning it over the note, making the stack thicker. Midnight, 1 a.m., 1 p.m., in the dunes on the Cape, your bed, anywhere. She left in a hurry, sipping her drink to hide her face.
Oh,
she prayed the other would respond soon. She shouldn't go back today. Coffee was expensive, but she needed to know. Had the stranger responded? Were they receptive? Her writing about humanities class passed slowly, every second taking a minute. She had to know. As soon as the professor let them go, she raced to Ivy Beans. The bell rang on the door she entered, racing straight to the bulletin board. There, on top of her napkin, was pinned a business card. Heart in her throat, she read the handwritten note. Call me to escape. Flipping the card over, she saw the gilded name and number. Shit. It was her older brother's best friend from childhood she hadn't seen in years. Anthony Delaware.
That's a good.
I was like so concerned for a second, Laura. I was so concerned. We were like, it was her older brother. I was like, oh god.
Older brother's best
Oh.
friend from childhood.
I know.
No.
You stopped like right there. I was like, oh,
You stumbled for a moment.
I couldn't read.
But then, like then I heard the apostrophe S, and I was like, oh,
what kind of story you're writing, Laura?
she's writing a saucy one with no incest. Damn it!
But no one says this is not Folgers.
Sorry.
Best thing about
Short
waking
story.
up is incest in your cup.
No, I have a short story we call Folgers Girl.
Oh no!
The character's drinks Folgers, but there's no incest in that one either.
Okay, good.
That commercial makes me so sad because I love Folgers and I grew up with everybody in my house drinking Folgers. So, Fox, what you may not know is there is a highly questionable Folgers commercial because nobody told the actors they weren't supposed to have weird chemistry. Because, like, with other actors, that same script would have been just fine.
Mm-hmm.
No. Yeah, it's like, Laura, it took a turn until you carried on. See, it wasn't just me. Got 419 words of my whip. Oh yeah.
So I was making a list of different buildings to include in my new town, and I realized it needs a library. So I knew, because my other town didn't have a library for some reason, I did not include it at all. I know. I don't know what happened.
Your other town makes me sad.
There was like a grocery store and a restaurant on the lake and another restaurant and coffee shop and a candy shop. All those things, but not a library. So this town, I think the library is maybe like their main focus, because in the first 5, my Love and Rockaway Beach series, a lot of interactions happened in the coffee shop in town. I think this one's the library because all kinds of characters come in and out of libraries.
Yes, this makes me very happy.
So yes. So that's why I decided the library is needed.
And speaking of libraries, our library has like this one section that is, it's like on the like upper floor, and it's all the way by the YA, and then there's just kind of this like glassed off area that is like for teens only. So like parents aren't supposed to go in there, just for the teens to chill and hang out. And I was like, I don't think that section of the library was there when I was a teenager. Otherwise, I would have always been there.
Yeah, the last few libraries we stopped in on our travels, like mainly in like Tennessee and North Carolina. This seems like there's a whole, it's not glassed off, but it's this whole section with all these signs that says this is for teenagers, you have to be at least 13 years old. And if you're with an adult basically go away. Adults not allowed. It's their safe space for them. So I think that was neat.
Yeah,
but
I
I
like
definitely didn't have that in any library growing up. It's more like a quiet everywhere.
Sorry, the yawning is actually a migraine symptom. It's not because I'm tired. Or bored.
It's true.
I promise.
I often
Yes.
yawn a lot too.
I'm glad. And like for years I didn't know it was a symptom of an oncoming migraine, and so I would get so frustrated when I would yawn and someone would be like, you should go to bed, you're like really tired, you've yawned. I'm like, I'm not tired, I don't know why I'm yawning, it's weird. And then I read that and I was like, bish, things are explained.
I found, okay, so I have migraines that my migraines are mostly caused from changes in elevation. So I noticed as we're like driving around, and Tennessee is awesome with elevation change, that I would like yawn more. But I noticed that because I used to chew gum all the time, but now I don't because now it sticks to my new teeth that I have. So now I can't like chew gum anymore. So I find that I'm yawning more often, and I feel like it might be because it's trying to
Repressurize.
pressurize my ears.
Yeah, because like one trick to like repressurizing when you're going up and down the mountains is just to do this. It's just the flexing your jaw.
Yeah.
So
I was doing that for a bit, and my kids are like, "What is wrong with you, Mom?" Nothing.
just practicing for when I'm a zombie, kids. Don't worry.
Right.
Like I'm coming for you now.
It also helps if you eat food, travel snacks as you're driving. I mean, I don't drive; I'm always in the passenger seat. So, chips and salsa, or chips and
anything that activates that chewing or that jaw up and down motion. Yeah, when we because this summer we took the kids on their first family vacay and we were taking them to Gatlinburg, so we knew we were going through the mountains. So we made sure that we packed a lot of snacks that would, like require chewing, like Lunchables, chips, something. There was a third thing, but I don't remember what it was. Jerky. We got beef jerky. Which beef jerky is expensive, so it is a rare treat, and therefore I did not want to share, but I had to.
Expensive.
And Marquise has like cherry maple beef jerky. So good.
Have you had their bacon maple flavored beef jerky?
No, I have not. Just the cherry maple.
Okay.
I must now try this bacon jerky.
I have a hard time chewing a lot of jerky, but I found that Korean jerky at Buc-ee's, the Korean line of jerky, is a little bit less tough to chew. Yeah.
Mimi says the highest I have been was Independence Pass in Colorado. I have no idea how high I've been. I don't think for me, for migraines, I don't think it's how high or how low that, like, I don't think that matters. I think it's just the going from up to down is what does it. Because like once I get there, I'm good. Like, well,
it's the elevation changes. Mine's so sensitive for just driving down the road on it doesn't need to be up and down. For driving down the road, the windows are down. I have to plug my ears as my husband like rolls up the windows in the car. Otherwise, just that slight difference in air pressure inside the truck will cause a migraine, and it'll hurt too. Like it'll just hurt.
If the kids want to like roll down a window, we have to make sure that we also roll down the opposite window to rebalance it. Weird check if you're going into or weird fact, if you're going into an interview / meeting and you're nervous, you can chew mint gum before, and the mint will trick your brain into thinking you're hungry and not nervous, if I remember.
Nice.
So it'll just make your stomach growl, right?
So you go in hangry instead of nervous.
So my daughter,
I was up at 10,500 feet in the military. It was not fun hiking up the mountain in freezing rain with a heavy ass pack on. I 100% believe you. I don't want to test that. I hiked up mountains with children attached. That's as close as I'm getting.
I don't know how high up I've been. We did the Going to the Sun Road in Hawaii. We drive through the Rocky Mountains all the time, getting from California to Utah for school. I've been very low, like Death Valley.
I have not been to Death Valley yet. I would like to, just so I can say I can be below sea level.
Exactly.
I have been at least 1,947 feet, because that's how high the tower in Anaquisto was.
Nice.
We were in Colorado for a couple of weeks in May, and we were at 7,700 feet, so 7,700 feet. And a couple of years ago, when we were stuck in the Colorado mountains, that sent us into Colorado because we ran out of gas. That one was close to 9,000 feet, and both times I totally felt the effects of high altitude. Hard to breathe, feel like I'm walking through, I don't know, mud all the time. But both times, like I would just like walk a few minutes, a shower winded me, like exhausted me just because of how much
Right.
effort it took with the different high elevations. But by the end of the 2 weeks, my constant migraine I had finally went away in time for us to leave and go down the mountain. Yes.
And I know I have at least been 6.5 feet below sea level, because
Were you snorkeling or diving?
I was in Louisiana.
Oh.
Parts of Louisiana are below sea level. That's why there's lots of levees.
Mm. Is Louisiana also where they don't dig down for cemeteries? They do above ground?
Correct. Because they are below sea level.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah. But my uncle and my aunt live in Louisiana. They've lived at various different parts of Louisiana. I don't remember where they are at the moment. They moved a couple years ago, and I keep forgetting where. I'm kind of bad with locations until I've been there. And then once I've been there, it's like in memory. But my husband hiked to Machu Picchu. She has not been to Death Valley. Mimi is loving hearing about Colorado Rocky Mountains from other people. Which mountains am I? I always forget. The mountain.
Are you by like the Blue Ridge Mountains?
I think so.
Because are you in Tennessee?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the Smokies. I'm by the Smokies.
Oh yeah, that too.
Appalachia.
In fact, when we drove from one part of Tennessee out of Tennessee, North Carolina, we were gonna stop at Smoky Mountains National Park. But that day it was over 100 degrees. And I said, next time when it's cooler, I'm not getting out to walk around outside anywhere when it's over 100 degrees. So I got to admire it from my car, which was pretty enough, but I would have liked to walk outside.
Oh, wait, I'm not in the Smokies. Smokies are... Wait, maybe I am. What the fuck mountain am I in? See, we've got both the Smokies and the Blue Ridge. And I know I live on my city is on a mountain range. I'm trying to figure out which one.
The house I grew up in was
I think
like
it's
a
the
couple
Smokies.
streets over from a dormant volcano
What?
that we would hike all the time. It was part of a park. But the rich people lived in the crater in the dormant volcano.
The rich people lived in the crater.
Mm-hmm. It's where the
Of
big
course.
houses were.
Sorry, the Google confused me because it said that it's like, yeah, your city is 288 miles away from the Smoky Mountains, and I'm like, that doesn't sound right. It's from the national park, which I'm like,
okay.
oh, that makes more sense. Not almost 300 miles away from the Smokies. I'm like, I used to be stationed in a place called 29 Palms on the edge of the Mojave. It was just a few hours from one of the deepest places on Earth without water in it. Don't fall down. Isn't it Blue Ridge Mountains? We've got both running through us. growing up in Alberta, we threw the Crow's Nest Pass in the Rocky Mountains, and it was 1,358 meters. If I could move anywhere, it would be Asheville, North Carolina, in the Blue Ridge.
Why there? I mean, there's lots of different places, so I'm just curious why there.
I might want to go to Vermont for all the pretty fall colors.
I haven't been. Every time I get a little bit further east, I say to everyone, "This is the furthest east I've been." Because up until a couple months ago, the furthest east I'd been was Texas, and now I get to see all the different, very different landscapes and sky views and terrain. And I like the sunshine down here. I like the green trees. The pollen says, "Screw you,
Nope.
Stephanie. You don't need to breathe. It's fine."
My youngest and the pollen are at war. She is
Who's winning?
absolutely the pollen, but she is very feisty with it. She's like, "Why can't I breathe?" And I'm like, "Honey, it's the pollen." She's like, "Why allergies? Why do plants have to have pollen?" And then the other day, she just very calmly comes up to me and she goes, "Maybe I should just not go outside." I'm like, "Child, you have to go outside to go to school." And she's like, "And they do, and recess is outside." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm afraid you can't avoid it." She was just like, she had a battle plan, and no. And I'm like, "You have nasal spray, you should take that." And she's like, "Ugh." And like, she couldn't sleep the one night, so I put like Vicks on her chest, gave her a cough drop for her throat, and then because her nose was getting raw, I wanted to put some like Vaseline or Carmix on it. And she goes, "Mom, we don't have to do everything." And I'm like, "I do if I want your ass to sleep." She's just so done with pollen and plants at the moment.
I can't, like, at night, I get to a point if I have like lifesaver mints in my mouth to like soothe my throat, cough drops, soothe the back of my throat. But I'm like, when I'm hacking and coughing, I don't cough anything up. But yet, as soon as I lay completely flat, I just start hacking and shaking the whole bed. I'm like, I can't sleep sitting up. It just doesn't work for me. But what's even more ridiculous is I don't have allergies. Like, I grew up in Oregon my whole life, didn't have allergies. Once in a while, I might have like an allergy to juniper pollen, like once every 4 years. Call it good. And it's like a little bit of allergies. I don't have to take any meds for it. My husband, on the other hand, he has hay fever really bad. And he grew up on a ranch with hay. So like all the time, he would like sneezing and like stuff would be flying out of his mouth and his nose. And he's like, he's like, I'm dying. I'm like, you're such a wimp. No, he was not a wimp, because now we're here. I'm the one that has allergies. He's totally fine, 100% fine. I'm like, I kind of hate you right now. Go talk to me, but bring me something cold to drink,
Karma.
please.
It's interesting. It's interesting and kind of wild how like pollen in one area doesn't affect us, but then pollen in another area is like, it will murder you. My poor husband, like, Florida pollen, don't bother him. Florida pollen, he's good. He grew up in Florida. That's his native place.
This is native pollen.
This is native pollen, yeah. Tennessee pollen, they don't get along so much. He gets sinus infections.
Oh no.
Like, I feel so bad. He's
When
fine
I-
until he has to mow the grass, but when he has to mow the grass, the pollen strikes back.
So that's the one thing that my husband is purely like excited about more than anything else, that we live in an RV and travel. He doesn't have to mow his lawn. Like, he would let his lawn get grow so bad until the city would leave him a note on his door. Hey, you need to do something about your grass.
Oh.
Because like he would take like 3 Benadryl and Allegra and some other allergy medication just to mow like the front little part of his yard. And then he would like wheeze for like 2 days. And then he would do the back part of his yard and he would like wheeze for like 2 days. That's how ridiculous his allergies were. And so we get the Texas. He's so tiny when we're in Texas. Sometimes he'll still sneeze a little bit, but not as bad as when we're in Oregon. But that's where I was convinced myself I had a tumor growing in my chest because you could hear me wheezing over the AC. Like I could feel myself, my lungs rattling. I was like, I must have picked something up from someone. It's fine. I'm going to die in peace in the middle of nowhere. I go all the way back to Oregon and it's totally fine. It's just the Texas pollen gives me a wheezing chest. The Tennessee and Virginia, North Carolina pollen gives me this horrible cough. So I might not like the snow, but my lung says I need the snow. But I don't like shoveling snow. So I was like, let's go anywhere where there's no snow. But that also means there's pollen. So got to balance what you want.
I like once a year in the fall, as the plants start to die, I will get a really stuffy nose. And then that is it for my allergies for the year. And I like to joke that it is just because my connection with nature, they're suffering, I suffer.
Oh no.
Because otherwise it doesn't I don't have the allergies. But we're gonna catch up with chat real quick and then go into our next sprint. RP lives a couple hours from Asheville. It's a pretty city. Mimi said Asheville was the first time I saw mountains with the autumn colors, and since I wanted to be close to the mountains, I applied for grad school and moved to Boulder. Asheville still has a moving special place in my heart. I reunited with Asheville last October, and let me tell you, I cried.
Oh.
It is beautiful out there. Down there. Yeah, down there.
Somewhere, wherever.
Over the rainbow. No.
Don't have too much fun, Stephanie. Your
Dying.
lungs don't like it.
I know.
Would you like to do our countdown, Stephanie?
Yes, sure. All right. And in 3, 2, 1, sprint.
Shin, we're back. I started watching I tried to like watch an hour of analytical story stuff. So I started that.
Nice. I finished up my little coffee shop story and got another prompt.
Sweet.
What?
Are you gonna tell us how you ended it?
It didn't go too much farther. So
She's like, we gotta buy the drabble now. That's how she gets its hooked.
okay, so it was her brother's best friend from childhood, Anthony Delaware, tech analyst. Dare she call him? She slipped the card in her pocket and snuck out the door. With every step, the card seemed to weigh heavier and hotter, burning through the denim. She'd wait a few hours at least to think this over. Who was she kidding? She took out her phone and stalked him on social media. He had grown since she'd last seen him. Blonde hair with an undercut, boyish fat gone from his face. Her type. And he had a dog. She was slain. Her fingers dialed his number before she even
And he
realized
had
what
a
she was
dog.
doing. Hello? His voice was rich velvet. Hello, Mr. Coffee Shop. And that's it.
That was cute. Hello, Mr. Couch. It's even cuter because we know that she knows who he is.
Yeah. Fun times.
Trying to figure out where we're in chat. Oh, RP grew up in Ohio, and pollen never bothered him no matter what. As soon as I went to the desert for the military, any pollen at all makes my life miserable. Oh, no. The sand pollen. I grew up in Florida, and like Chris, I didn't have an issue with the pollen there. I also visited the Hebron Mountains, also known as Akali Mountains. Did I say that right? Or is it Al Khalil? In Jerusalem, they were so beautiful. Took care of my dishes from dinner and figured out which whip I'm going to work on for the last sprint. Oh, yeah. And he had a dog. 278, so 697. Also, I want this story to be made into an entire slice of life manga and eventual anime. You hear that, Laura? You gotta start your manga career.
Yeah. I love manga.
Then I can I can start a Laura display when I go to conventions.
That would be awesome.
You got this. Get the youngest one down. Sorry, I meant the other one, not the youngest one is down. One more to go. I fumbled all the things I was gonna say. It's fine.
I added a list of more characters to include in my series, like a sheriff's officer has to be in the town to make sure everyone's on their best behavior. The librarian, and then someone else that works in the library with her. And I guess there should be a detective of some sort in the town. So there's gonna be a library, basically like a burger joint place, a coffee shop, a breakfast eatery place, and a seafood restaurant.
Towns don't need detectives if they have murder mystery writers like Angela Lansbury's character in Murder, She Wrote.
That's
She's
true.
so classy.
I can't remember the character's name. Murder, She Wrote.
I don't remember.
Jessica Fletcher.
Thank you.
I was
It was
Googling it too.
bothering me so much. I was like, I need to know.
All right, so
I guess
really-
there's a sheriff in that town though.
Yeah, and then that's all I got. which also means I need to create more names. It's my least favorite thing out of the entire writing process is creating the names. Because if they end up getting married, then you need to give them the last names too. Eventually.
Theoretically. Jessica B. Fletcher is Angela Lansbury's character. Yes, thank you. How do outliners figure out what characters they need? It's an enigma to me. The sheer power of plotters cannot be compared. Well,
All
like
right,
there's
so-
different ways. Stephanie sounds like she's doing all of her world building up front, which means she's also like doing her casts and stuff up front. I outline and I world build as I outline, and so I create the character as I need them in my plot, or like as I think of my character's backstory, or like. And other times, a character will just like pop up out of nowhere, like Chirpy, character in Save Her Soul. Did not like I had my outline almost completely done, and then we were bullshitting on chat and started talking about cheetahs and cheetah shifters, and I was like, I needs a water boy who is a cheetah shifter, and then thus Chirpy is born, and he was put into the outline, and he's getting more and more scenes as the time goes on.
So yeah, so right now I'm making my cast of characters like different like job skills and stuff like that. Right. But my original Love and Rockaway Beach series did not start out that way. I knew there was going to be I knew ahead of time there's going to be a group of people, and then by the end of the series they're all going to be coupled off, and so you're going to meet all of them in the first book. And so, and as far as
I love when series do
did you meet? Well, you meet most of them like the first and second book, but then as like each book came along, I had to create like where in the town did they live and like where did they work. So I kind of knew it was going to be in a small town. They're going to be like you're going to meet them in the first and second book. But as the series went on, I kind of just decided on a whim where they lived or where they worked, that sort of thing. So. And then I would like stop. Okay, what is this person's name? This person's name is Shane. I can't make the person he couples up with Shannon because that would be too weird. I mean, writing it over and over again, So I had to make. In my mind, I was like, the names had to be a little bit different. So I'm actually just like stalling until. I magically get a new battery in my laptop because magically, like it was totally working just fine, my battery, laptop, and all that. And then I finally used it one time. Like I used it not plugged in. I've always used it plugged in the power surge protector strip. And then I was just sitting there using it and it like died. I'm like, okay, no problem. So I plugged it in, charged it up to 16%. And it will never ever go above 16%. The battery is done. So
the battery
now
said,
yeah, it's just
it
done.
said, that battery said, I have never had to do a day of work in my life. I'm not starting now.
Well,
That's what
because
the charger's for.
Right? I mean, like some people start with a laptop and unplug it in when their battery gets low. But if I'm going to sit there and my plan is to write a bunch in several hours in a row, with sprints and stuff like that, I know I'm just going to drain the battery. So I'm just going to plug it in anyway.
I mean, I do the same thing. And part of that is because I feel like my laptop gets hotter when it's not unplugged because I don't pay as much attention as to how it's sitting, and so I put it in positions the fan cannot do its job properly.
Yes. Well, I used to sit on my bed a lot and type, so it'd be like on the blankets, so there, not a lot of cooling situation going on there.
Yeah. I'm still watching it. Yeah, I need to start my Murder, She Wrote marathon, but I unfortunately am in my Swoop marathon, and as soon as my Swoop marathon is done, I'll probably start Murder, She Wrote. I hate naming characters. I have taken to using random name tables from a D&D book.
My fantasy adventure novel, my character, 25,000 words in, it is still MC for main character. That's just what she is throughout the entire book. Like, I don't even. Maybe that will be her name, and only authors will know why.
I am notorious for doing just the most random shiz. Like, for the longest time, I referred to my characters as just MC and Richie because it was MC and the Richie Rich Girl, or my main character and the Richie Rich Girl. Richie's name, her name's Rochelle, so it can be shortened to Richie by any, like, her friends. And my main character's name is Melina. It used to start with a C. It doesn't anymore because I did some research into Mayan last names. But it used to be I don't even remember. Chell. I used to call her Moxie Chell, MC. Yes, you were. Chirpy's great.
I just love the name Chirpy so much.
I concur. It's because, like, that's not his actual name, but when he speaks, because, like, it comes from the fact that cheetahs can't roar, they just meow, but their meows sound so much closer to chirps.
Mm-hmm.
So even though he's a cheetah, but he's, like, really shy and anxious, so when he talks, it sounds like he chirps because he'll be like, "I'm okay, water." And I love this about him. That's really cool. I'm a pantser, so I figure out what characters I need as I draft, and then I have to figure out how to introduce them more organically so it looks like I knew what I was doing.
I am also a pantser.
I named characters in my whip based on the definition of the name. I gathered a bunch that fit the two races and then picked which sounded best for the character. Also, what race I want them to be.
Half of my characters, my kids have named. I'm like, "Hey, Ileana, what do you think about this name?" She says, "No, I like this name better." You know what? Me too. That sounds good. I'll use that. Like, honestly, that's how it usually goes.
I have a princess of a kingdom, and her name is Sabrina Ragu. And the reason her name is Sabrina Ragu is because Sabrina, if I remember right, means queen, and Ragu was the tomato sauce sitting on my table at the time. So I both put so much thought and absolutely no thought into names at the same time. That's great.
My fantasy book, there's a trio of King's Guardsmen, and I got all their names from after I watched a bunch of One Tree Hill episodes. So, like Chad and Mark and Lucas and something else. So I got most of it from that. Like, it's fine.
Babynames.com is also a great resource. Fox says I fundamentally hurt him. Well, Fox, how do you name your characters? Never looked at a tomato sauce can and went, "Nah, that'd be a good name for a country." Yes. I turned the camera off. This one.
So right now there's another prompt going down, and it is Pretty Woman, only it's feminist and on OnlyFans.
Pretty woman.
I'm trying to write it, and we'll see what happens. I killed Stephanie. No.
That's all right. Okay, so I love drinking water out of mason jars. I just feel like it keeps water colder. And I just like drinking out of mason jars. So I took this down to the pool, and someone was like, someone legitimately thought I had moonshine in here. Like, like, no,
Fair
it's just
enough.
straight water. I promise. It's like the only thing that will soothe my throat. So now the bad side effect is I get it more often to use the bathroom.
I feel like Fox is a dirty liar because he says he said I've never looked at a tomato sauce can. No, I could believe that. But then he goes, names just appear in an instant. There is no thought, only destiny. I think he's a dirty liar. I don't believe there's no thought there.
Who needs to breathe? It's fine. It's overrated.
Nobody.
Just like sleep.
Yes. Sleep is vastly overrated. I got far too much sleep yesterday. I cleaned my garage den by myself without the children, which means I moved all the couches by myself. My body then said, "Bitch, who do you think you are? You're disabled." And then I slept for 14 hours.
Yes, that sounds about something I would do. Like, oh, I'm feeling fine. We'll do it.
Like, I'm feeling great. Let's get all the things clean. No thought, only destiny. That's the way I need to approach my writing. Hi ho and welcome. For some reason, the way I did that reminded me, Heidi, Heidi, ho there. MICKEYMOUSE. Bella's an extreme plotter. She has a Word doc outlining every plot point in the 3-act structure, and I need to fill it out before I even start writing. I wish I was more of a pantser. I am in between because there are certain things that will just flow better if I don't outline them, but I also want to have a skeletal blueprint of where I'm going. So, like, for example, most of the romantic scenes in my outline are just, and they bond. And when Fox was looking over the outline, he's like, you need more here. And I'm like, I do not, trust me. And he's like, all right. But if future Sam gets mad at past Sam, I'm like, trust me, future Sam will be fine. And yeah, like, I needs none I'm just like, okay, they bond, and I just start typing and it just goes. I wrote my chapter 3, and because I've been having migraine issues, I pretty much only wrote out most of what the outline parts were, and then sort of like went off the rails toward the end because it was a romance scene. I'm like, oh, but I need to do this one thing. But I'm going through like the first round of revisions and sewing the parts together. I'm like, oh, I need to add the parts in that were not outlined. Transition scenes, they're important.
I'll see what I can do, Jennifer. I was coming up with pen names on the other stream for the people on screen. Mystery.
Well, I'm not in the other stream, but I'm on stream here. Can I have a pen name?
It's true. What type of genre?
Give me a mystery pen.
A mystery pen. Okay.
Mystery.
I'll do Jennifer's first.
As is only fair. She asked first.
So I will have like a loose, like, these are my characters, like the main like plot of the book. And then I'll write what I think is my first chapter, but it's never my first chapter when I'm done. It's usually my second chapter, because then once I get done writing, I'm like, oh, I need a little bit more backstory here, so I'll add a new first chapter. And then, so usually I'll get about 20,000 words in, and then I'll be like, what now? Like, so then over the next like 6 or 7 chapters, I'll just do like bullet point of what I want to happen. Like 3 or 4 things like 3 or 4 scenes in that chapter I want to definitely happen. And so then I do that for like 5 or 6 chapters at a time. And then I'll go to the first chapter with the bullet points in it. And I'm like, okay, what's the first bullet point? They go to the coffee shop and they get in an argument or whatever. So I'll type that and I'll delete that bullet point and then go to the next bullet point. And I actually picked up that tip by watching I think it was Bethany Adazada's channel one time, and she said that she did that. I was like, oh, because I was like, because I would always get to a point, and then I'd be like staring at a blank screen trying to figure out what next. Because I'm not super strict in my outlines, like some people are.
So, oh, Bella said, then I start writing and then come up with a thought that changes so many things, but also doesn't change the major points. It's super annoying. How often? So here's the fun thing. Future Sam never gets mad at anybody. She lives in blissful ignorance of all the things that past Sam does. Present Sam, however, it's a very different story. Present Sam gets annoyed with past Sam often, but never over my romance scenes, which is what he was saying that I would be displeased over. But no. Because past Sam is a bitch, but all of the Sams are in agreement when it comes to romance scenes not needing to be plotted out when we write them. Fox is flipping a table 10 feet across the gym. It will
like they I don't know, romance stuff happens here, or the bedroom scene happens here, or what?
You cut out, and literally, I didn't hear anything except bedroom scene.
Oh my god. Okay.
I'm the only word that came through.
No. All right. I was saying that when I write my romance books and I plot it out, I'll just say, like, a kissing scene goes here, or they go to the bedroom here, or proposal here, but I'm not super detailed in exactly what happens in that scene. Is that better?
Yeah, right. Same.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, better than what you heard.
It was clear there.
Okay.
And yes, he's saying, I feel like, at least with romance scenes, for me, they flow so much better and more naturally if I'm just writing them out than if I'm trying to plan them, because at that point I'm like, when I'm writing it out, the characters' mannerisms and little things that they're gonna do, you know, like caressing. Moxie's really big into like rubbing Rochelle's fingers. And so that happens a lot. Or like I have a different character in a different project who like plays with the end of hair, right? So it's just different like character quirks and stuff for me come out smoother, and if I don't plot them out like that. So other things though, like my fights got to be step by step. I need an instruction manual in my outline so that I can make sure they make sense. I am a reforming pantser, just now learning what kind of plotting methods work for me. Well, I hope you find what works for you. I did a year of research and then created an inciting incident using my 3 main characters. Everything else I figured out drafting, frantically hoping to reach a strong image thus seen in my head. You call it pantsing. I call it chaotic neutral. Fair. Sam Timber is where you learn writing with the help of past, present, and future Sam. Yes.
All right, I came up with Jennifer pen names.
Okay.
River Black, Ramina Ruth, Naomi Thresher, Edith Decker, Lenore Davenport. I don't know if any of those are already taken. I just came up with them.
What are these pen names based upon? Like, how are you coming up with them?
So she wanted
mystery suspense.
Yeah. So, I stole Ruth from Ruth Ware, and Jennifer is Christian, so I stole Naomi, and Naomi is the whole thing with the wheat and Esther, or is it Esther? I don't remember. My brain is
Edith
fried. So with the wheat, there's threshing the wheat. So Edith, Naomi Thresher. Lenore, I thought was pretty. And Davenport is one of my friend's last names that I had forever
I
ago.
also know a Davenport.
Nice.
That's not a very common name, so that's kind of wild.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I was just curious. Also, I have this thing within the like I am constantly fighting the urge to just slam it into my forehead, but I'm like, I know it won't stick, and then that would just hurt. But I want to. Jennifer likes them. It doesn't stick to my cheek either. My cheek's too flat. Okay, if everyone's cool with it, I'm gonna go ahead and start our last sprint because it is a school night. And I should attempt to get to the children. All right, I will count us down. 3, 2, 1, and go. Most of us are back. Unfortunately, Stephanie's hotspot died.
Yeah.
So, everyone, how did you do during the final sprint?
I wrote the story. Submitted it to
Just
read.
slam it into my forehead when your inner voice overpowers your outer voice. Well, I didn't slam it into my forehead. I tried to get it to stick to my cheek. See, because I knew the way my forehead is shaped that it would not stick to my forehead. But I was hoping, because the cheek is a rounder surface, but my cheek is not round enough. Now I'm saddened by this. Welcome back, Tina. You know, it's fine. At least you had a good brainstorming session. That's the important. Hi, Shannon. Yes, thank you. It was fun hanging out. Thanks. Well, thanks for showing up and hanging while you could.
Yeah.
Laura has provided me with pen names: Serena Key, Sierra Walker, Emily Riddle, Persephone Labrie, Alex Taylor, Sylvia Allen, Melanie Cloister. Why that last one?
I don't
like
know.
Okay. The rest of them, like, I could see that. And then I got that, and I'm like...
I was grasping at straws at that point.
Fox is upset that you used 3 of my go-to names for stories. What can I say? I exude an energy. What kind of energy? I don't know, but I exude it. All right, we're going to go ahead and go because I have to put the children to sleep.
Oh, bed. Sounds delightful.
So, Laura, if you would be so kind as to do your outro.
I'm Laura Nettles. I'm mostly about horror, also dabbling in paranormal romance with vampires. Yeah, I have a book out. It's called Tiny Shivers. It's got all types of horror subgenres in there. But yeah, I will be around. I'm on Nia's stream tomorrow. JC's on Wednesday. And it's either mine or Tiffany's on Thursday. Who knows? We'll see. I'm also on Phoebe Woods tomorrow. So, yeah, I will be everywhere. You can't
Make sure you
get rid
subscribe to Laura's channel. I think she posts where she's going to be on her community tab. She has before.
I have before. But yeah.
298 meaning Bella did 298, so she's got 995 words for the stream.
Woohoo!
She's getting back into her whip, struggling for the last month. We are also excited for you. Kelly got some more of her research project done and got an email that one of my Amazon purchases got shipped. Awesome. But with that, I am Writing Mom Samantha L. Nassett. This is my channel where I talk about writer things, parent things, and writer-parent things. I host live streams on Mondays, and remember, the guest flash fiction free-for-all will be this Saturday at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. You can go to my website, SamanthaLNassett.com, to sign up to my newsletter that will be coming out this week. And thanks, everybody, for coming. Thanks for co-hosting Laura and Stephanie, and we will catch everybody next time. Bye.
Bye.